Hi, this is Talk K-Dramas with Bruce and Alice.
Hey,
This is Pachinko, episode 2.
indeed.
So give us your sentences.
Alrighty. So Hansu saves Sunja from being raped and she allows him into her world. 2, Solomon tries to get the Korean landowner to sell her dilapidated house and fails to close the deal. And 3, Sunja allows Hansu to talk to her during her daily chores and he opens up about his childhood. Romance ensues.
Ooh.
That's it. That's what I got.
Okay, what I forgot to say on our first episode, that this story, Pachinko, is from a book
Okay.
with the same title. I mean, it was a very popular book.
Okay.
I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to order it. I can't wait. Well, I was
hopefully you read it before we're done with the whole series. That'd be really cool.
Oh, that would be, but I am in the middle of another book. Okay, so we'll see. However, I was very excited. I don't know, this second episode, I feel like it went another different, it was different than what I expected. Really? The other thing, okay, well,
we'll talk about it.
I was looking through all the cast, right? So if you could print out a drama sheet.
Yeah, go to our website.
So when I was looking online on my,
because there's a lot of characters to keep. I mean, a lot of characters that you're gonna have to keep track of because this spans 3 generations, and so
when I was looking online on my drama list at the characters, I was just kind of what I was looking for was her father, Sunja's father, and I didn't see him on my drama list listed as one of the characters, which is weird. It could just be a mistake or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Does that not make sense to you? I just didn't see him listed. And then I even went to IMBD. That's where they list like all like the Hollywood movies and things like that. And I couldn't find her father listed. Just weird. Maybe it was my fault, my mistake. But what I did see was one of the characters, and it said Sanju's husband. And it wasn't Eamon Ho's character. And I went, oh, because I was thinking, oh, they had this love affair. Well, apparently they did, but it just wasn't the way I was thinking it to be. Yes. So it might be a little scandalous, which, I mean, could be exciting, but not, anyways, not the way I was thinking. Totally not the way I was thinking about it.
Yes.
And so I wanted to say that before we got started.
That is based on a book.
Yeah,
you
based
couldn't
on a
find
book
her father
by
and
Min
the
Ji
actor
Lee.
and
New York bestseller. New York bestseller. A lot of good reviews on that book.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can imagine.
So good.
I can imagine.
Okay. Episode 2. So the scene starts off with Sunja on the ferry. And all the people there that she's sitting around are all talking about this newcomer, right? Eamon Ho's character, Hansu.
Yes.
And they were questioning, is he one of us? Or is he one of them? And they're like, his prices are fair. And then there is this one young lady dressed up very nice. The juxtaposition between her and Sunja, right, completely different.
Yes. Yeah.
You
the idea is like traditional versus modern. Yeah.
And you start to feel like, Sunja, you're out of your league here. This is like a wealthy, good-looking guy, and she looks just plain next to this girl all dressed up in red. And, and I almost kind of felt sorry for Sunja sitting there, like, because she's in. I mean, he's a good-looking guy. Even though she has said, I don't have time to be, she said that last episode.
Well, she also said, I don't know what the big deal is about. Yes, she said that.
But she's paid attention.
For sure.
And so that's this first scene when they're on the ferry. And then we see Hansu, and he's kind of being a bully. We see him on the docks as Sunja gets, she's off the ferry, and they're on the docks, and he's kind of being a bully.
Well, he's handling someone, yes, physically.
Something about the sale of fish, because remember, he is a, what did they call it last episode? I mean,
fish market owner. like he's the owner of the fish market?
He's selling fish or something, down there. He's a newcomer here. So you see him kind of roughing somebody up, and she's watching, and then he walks away, and then he starts talking to, the pretty girl.
Yeah.
And
modern girl.
And she's overlooking, and she's judging and thinking things, right? She says it later to him. She says something to him later about it. But she's paying attention. She is noticing her place.
Yes.
In all of this. And then we go back to Tokyo, 1989, and there's a wedding, right?
Yeah.
And Solomon's there, and basically there too, and his co-workers, right? There's a woman there, and an American guy or European guy, white guy.
He's definitely American.
Oh, American.
Yeah, no, he was established in episode 1.
So they're there. And I think it's mainly for like an introduction. So he gets to know some of the people there, because he meets the bride's father. And so I think that's kind of all that scene was about.
Oh,
right? There's some other things, but I didn't really pay attention to, and I didn't write it down.
Yeah, well,
the dialogue.
I think there's some important things that are being laid out, really important things that are being laid out that are very subtle, and yet at the same time very, like I said, important, and that the whole relationship between Japanese people and Koreans, that is definitely being laid out. As Solomon was interacting with his younger childhood friend, and he was like, when you were,
that's right,
when we were younger, your father said that Koreans must have been raised by dogs, because why else would they put their head down into the bowl versus lifting the bowl up like we do? And those are like, and like I said, to me, or to an average everyday person, those things are just so subtle that it doesn't really mean anything. But when you have a whole nation backing you up, and you're living in that nation, and you're the oppressed minority, those little things really, those seemingly little things, really build up on you, on your soul. And so basically, the Japanese folks thought of Koreans as dogs. That is what that's supposed to mean, right? In that space. And then it's interesting because to me also I feel that there's some some romantic, even all is ever so slight romantic tension between him and that Japanese woman that's in the space. And it's like, and then you have this wedding, and then the old man like kind of checked on him, like, what's your blood type, and stuff, which is a very odd question to us in the United States. But in Japan, that is as normal as asking someone their birthday or something. Well, actually, it's even more normal than that, because this is something that people ask, because blood type is actually supposed to mean something. And that's why he was like, oh, and it was like, oh, so you're optimistic and stuff like that. And so blood type is like, asking that question is a very normal thing. That? Yes, I do know that. I don't know that like I know my blood type. I know that, well, I do know my blood type is A positive, but I don't know what that means. And it's like, if I were to say that to Japanese folks, they might go like, like, I have no idea. I really have no idea, but I do know that it's supposed to mean, means something like zodiac signs mean something to us. And so, I wonder what an A is.
Weaker vessel. Just kidding.
Why would you? Dang.
Because I'm O.
You're O? Well, you're optimistic. You must have been optimistic to marry me.
That's good. I do remember them talking, but I was so busy writing stuff down. And I was hoping you would catch all of that. So that's good.
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you folks, it's like y'all, I think the people, or if you've listened to multiple podcasts from us, then you know that I'm Black and Japanese. And yet here I am watching Korean dramas, and this is a real thing. I knew that this was a thing. Like, it's not necessarily normal for someone with Japanese heritage to, I know about the prejudice, let's just say about that. Or you could call it racism, however you want to frame that.
But Korean dramas are huge in Japan.
That is true.
So there's a
the generation gaps on these things is just as big as in the United States. I mean, like literally. If you go, if you survey people who are like 80 years, 70 years old and older, well, there's a serious still amount of prejudice and racism in those spaces. But the younger generation is almost gone, if you would, as far as attitudes wise.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, and so yes, of course, there's differences in generations, and yet at the same time, I'm looking at this like, woo. But the Japanese tried to conquer Korea, though. Like, that's not something that just goes away. And so, it's been, like I said, and so the dynamic that I've been like, my radar is very up on like, yo, how are the Japanese going to be portrayed? That's what I really am like. I'm so curious about it. Like, how are the Japanese going to be portrayed? And so far, it's been relatively subtle, right? It's like it hasn't been like slap you in your face type of deal. It's been relatively subtle. I mean, episode 1 has some scenes where they were beating up on some folks, but it's like it seemed like there was cause. I'm going to put that in quotes, air quotes there, but yeah, when you're the imperial country, you don't need cause to do a beat down. So just saying, right? And so I was wondering how it was going to be portrayed, and so far, they're definitely taking a lighter touch on this.
Okay. You done?
Dang.
Okay.
You see how she do me? Anyway.
There's a scene here with Sunja when she's older, 1989. Yeah, she's taking care of her sister-in-law. And her sister is sick. So we don't know much about that relationship. We don't. But there is a scene where she's taking care of her. Yeah. They have flashbacks. There's a flashback at the docks. Oh, not a flashback. I'm sorry. So if we go back, I think it makes it, when you're watching it, when you were watching it, seeing Sunja and her sister-in-law together, and they were talking about like their childhood. And then it cuts back to when Sunja was younger. Yes. So I don't know if she's kind of remembering all of this Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying. It's not a traditional flashback. Yeah, not a flashback. It's just storytelling. That's what I write in my notes. Yeah. But I think they made it look like she might have been thinking about the past in that scene. So there's a scene where Sunja, it looks like maybe she's buying fish from somebody, and Hansu shows up and he's angry. Yeah. I'm not quite sure exactly what was happening, but he wasn't supposed to be selling fish to her. The small fish. And she says, she's trying to defend him. I wasn't buying fish. And then he gives. We traded. It was just barter. It wasn't, they were selling that. And the guy in that exchange was also the guy that Hansu was roughing up earlier. And Hansu tells her something like, why do, it's a waste for us to even catch the smaller fish or something. Or to sell it because then it depletes the supply. And she's like, but it's the same, we're still struggling. So she said something like that, right? Yeah. Which honestly, that was actually not, I don't, it was significant. I was hoping you would write it down verbatim, but it's like, she's like, because he was like, because then we'll struggle for scraps. And she's like, well, we're struggling anyway. Yeah. And so basically, showing her spirit, like, look, I'm not going to back down from you. Yes, I get it. You're the big guy, but I'm defended, like she defended the guy, she defended, and then she also defended what she was doing. Yeah. And so it was very modern, even though she is dressed very traditional. Yeah, I like that she stuck up for it. She's like, your reasoning it doesn't. Yeah. It really doesn't make sense. Yeah. Okay. So we're back at 1989 at the office. We hear more stuff about the funeral of the emperor. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for the emperor thing to turn. Okay. I'm just telling y'all, just storytelling wise, it's like, it's going to turn. It's going to turn. It's a big deal. The young Sunja is going to have to, the Koreans are going to have interacted with that emperor, and it's going to turn. There's something that's going to be there. Okay. And I can't wait. So at the Pachinko parlor, they're adjusting the pins. They're fixing it.
They're fixing it. They're fixing the game.
So what's up with the lady that walks in? Is it because then the father looks at her, she walks away losing all her marbles. She lost her marbles. But he kind of like feels bad. And he even says that too. He's like, look, you're happy when people win and you're sad when they lose.
Yeah.
But do you think there was some significance, or was just humanize him a little bit, or what?
Yeah, I think just the humanizing aspect, like I learned how to do this. It's kind of like, yeah, for me, it's like I learned how to hustle, and that doesn't mean it's right, but this is what's expected of
He said
me.
they all do it. He said everybody does it. You got to keep up. Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. He's opening up another Pachinko thing, right? It's like that was clear from episode 1.
Because he was getting a loan.
And it's like, look, if he doesn't, I mean, if he doesn't hustle, he doesn't make as much money, can't pay the rent, type of deal. Maybe that's what's going on. Him
doing that also tie in to the first episode when we saw the news on the TV?
Well, we'll see. There's too much left to be told for them to tie in stuff that quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just humanizing. Like he's just like, man, I'm kind of like, I'm a dirty bastard, but this is what we do.
This is what we do. So back at the fish market, Sunja, her mom, an earlier scene had told her, look, there's some things going down on the docks. I don't want you to be alone. And she's like, I've been going to the docks since I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
But this is the day that she's walking.
Yep.
Through, and some guys, they attack her and about to rape her.
Yep. And
Hansu shows up.
And he does in all of his magnificent gangsta glory.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know that we are extremely biased towards Lee Min-ho, so just understand. I don't know. I personally, he can't do any wrong, and he looks good. He looks good doing it. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm a little bit conflicted. I'm not sure yet. I just want it on the record. I love Lee Min-ho, man. I got something going on. There's a little bit.
Really?
I don't know why. Maybe it was the last scene kind of messed me up. But what? Why do you give me that look?
Anyway.
What?
Story-wise, it's just part of the story.
I know, you're right. We'll get there and we'll talk a little more about it. But I'm just letting you know.
But I shouldn't be surprised because you don't even like to watch these characters like anyone kiss.
I'm just letting you know.
You sound a little prudish right now.
I know I do. You're right. And I'm accepting that and I'm admitting it, but I got some conflict going on. We'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah.
So, but I do have to say he saves her and he escorts her on the ferry all the way home. That I fell in love with. I was like, oh my God, what a gentleman. I was thinking that was awesome. That was awesome, right? He should have done that. He didn't have to. Right? He didn't, any other man didn't have to do that, but he did. And that was awesome. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I loved that he escorted her all the way home. And she tells him when she gets off the ferry, because he has blood on his shirt, and she's like, bring that back and I'll wash it for you.
Right.
And I was like, ooh.
Well, that, and she asked, I thought it was really funny.
Is she gonna throw it away?
Yeah, are you just gonna throw it away? That was funny. He was like, why would they do that?
Well, because remember, that was the talk when they were talking about him. Like, he was so wealthy, he doesn't even, he just throws away each shirt and wears a new one.
Yeah, he doesn't wear the same shirt twice. And so, no, and for some reason, that endeared.
It does.
Hansu to Sonja. Yeah, she liked that.
Yes, because you're hearing all this stuff that he's, some wealthy guy, you can't relate to him. And so, and then she's hearing all the stuff on the ferry, and he's walking with the pretty girl. And then for him to say that, she's probably like, oh, okay, maybe all that stuff.
Not everything that is being said about him is true.
Yeah. So we go back to 1989. We go back to the scene with Sunja, the older Sunja, and the sister-in-law.
Yeah.
and she looks like she put something in her food.
Yeah, she grinds up the medicine.
She grinds up something.
The medicine, because remember, like the scene before, the sister didn't want to take her medicine.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying it's
medicine. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
they were pills.
Well, I was wondering if it was something like, was she killing her? But no, but now that you said she didn't want to take her medicine, that's what
she did not want to take her medicine.
And her sister-in-law says it tastes a little bitter, but see, Sunja's reaction to that was like she felt really bad. But I was like, why would she feel bad for giving her medicine? I was wondering if it was something else, but it's probably her medicine. I think
we're fine. I'm 99.99% sure that is medicine, but
I think I
could be wrong.
We'll see, but you're probably right.
But I think she's feeling guilty for different reasons. The sister's saying, I want to die, and Sunja is not letting her. Yeah. Right. And so it's I think that's the tension that we're feeling versus she's poisoning her.
So we see a few scenes with Hansu sitting with Sunja while she's doing the laundry. We're washing his shirt first.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so romantic.
Washing laundry. That
he's there with her with such a menial task. Like anybody else would be like, why am I going to sit while you're doing your laundry? But he's like, you got to be here. I want to be with you. So I'm going to sit here while you do this. I love it. I love that. You see nothing. You see nothing about that scene, about him doing that. Oh, so you're not romantic. So romantic.
That's why I lose points. I understand.
Yeah. I just love that.
I just do the chores around here. I don't.
Especially you don't do the chores around here.
I'm not. I'm saying the chores that have to be that I do. I just do them. I'm not thinking about spending time with you while you do your chores. Yes, correct.
He wants to spend time with her. This is another time. This is also another time, right?
That is true.
Doing
the laundry does not take a couple of minutes or whatever.
Like it takes there
all day.
The idea was that he wanted to spend time with her alone. And obviously she does the laundry alone. So I loved it. I love it. I love it. So the writer, who's the writer here? Was it Justin? Did you write it? Oh no, the writer of the book. Oh, I love it. What's her name? Min Ji Lee. I love that scene. Love it. I love that scene.
Okay. And you would think that I would, anyway, I'm gonna stop.
So back at the Pachinko parlor, there's a scene with the father and the detective, and they're looking for Hannah. Again, Hannah is not on the list of characters, but isn't she the sister? But did they ever say, is it their daughter? Clearly. It's a daughter.
Hannah is the sister of Solomon. Okay. Yes. So, might even be twin sister, the way that they were talking. So, but that's
what they say is that they can't find her. She's last seen 8 years ago at Soapland.
I thought it was 8 months.
Oh, I wrote 8 years.
Okay.
That's a good one. We got to look it up.
Okay.
But you know what? I learned something today. I'm like, oh, she must have been doing laundry at Soapland. Because I think there's like a laundromat in here in our area called Soapland. But you know what? Let me tell you what Soapland really is.
Okay, please do.
This was very interesting. Soaplands came to existence after the laws of 1956, when explicit full-service prostitution was outlawed in the country. To skirt these laws, the operators changed their ways and continue operating their existing brothels as bathhouses, which still exist to this day. So while I was looking it up, I actually found a website, like a legit Soapland website, like if I was looking up Subway.
Okay.
And I wanted to order and see everything they offered, pictures and everything. It was amazing. They have I know. You're not allowed to go.
I'm not allowed to go. Okay. So that clarified, without asking the question, that clarified everything of what you saw. Okay, got it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, I mean,
It's a full service prostitution space. I mean, I get it.
Without intercourse. Can't have intercourse. They have mat playtime. No mat playtime for you.
Okay.
So they like
no happy ending.
Massage. They have plenty of happy endings there. They actually
well, what you're saying to me. Yeah, just
okay. Bruce is trying to like skirt around to see if he can like, what's okay, what's not.
No.
So they
apparently not okay.
Apparently they can't have intercourse.
Understood.
But they can do other things. And according to this one website, like Soapland Cafe or something, I know this is a family show, but this is what it said on the website. You can have as many ejaculations as you want.
I don't know why that not to make this a family show still, but okay.
I know Bruce is just so open about everything. There are some parents that may not want to hear their kids hear stuff like that. Because then you know why? Because then they're gonna have to explain to them.
I understand, but I mean, for real,
I'm telling you, it is.
It's birds and bees.
True.
People have been doing it for however many thousands of years.
Yes, but that doesn't mean parents want to have to be on. Trust me, I have friends that were like, no, I'm not saying nothing. Okay. And I'm like, no, you have to.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Or not.
But
that's and deal with the consequences of that too.
Because that's not good. Anyways, I was like, this is fascinating. So you can make appointments online.
Oh, I mean, this is really like,
I know,
driving through McDonald's. Like, this is a franchise, and okay, got it.
Yeah.
Menu, everything. Okay.
So very interesting. Anyways, here I was thinking it was a laundromat.
Yeah, I was like, there was a part of me that wanted to believe that. For real. Like I literally was like, and she has a lot of customers, and I'm like, why is that significant?
She does their laundry.
Does she own their own? You know, it was like,
fold the towels every week.
Yeah,
you know,
there was a part of me that wanted to believe that, and yet there was the common sense echo in my head going like, okay, that's not this. There's something that has to be not.
And you get to pick. You get to pick your girl.
Of course, you would be able to.
Yeah, you can go online and look at pictures and pick the person that you want.
That makes. Well,
that makes sense.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like franchise it or whatever. That just makes sense.
Yeah.
That you would do that. Yeah.
Well, like when you go get a massage, you don't necessarily. Well, I guess you can pick. You'd be like, I want so and so. If you knew.
Well, you go to certain massage spaces for.
Oh, and there's different levels of soap blends. So, like at the highest level, they pick the prettiest girls.
I mean, of course.
And even like the well-known, even some they said are like actors and stuff.
Okay. That, like, again, all of this stuff makes sense to me. There's
of course it would.
There's different levels
of course it would make sense to you.
I'm not saying it makes sense like I need to do it or I know what you're talking about like in the first hand. I'm just saying, yeah, of course you would. We talked about it as prostitution in my social problems class. And we understand that there's a difference between streetwalkers versus call girls. It's a huge difference. Huge. Yeah. And it's even bigger when you start thinking about power and protection and things like that. And so, it just makes good business sense.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
More news about the emperor. Nothing I have to give. I'm just saying they're just putting in more news about the emperor.
It's going to turn.
And then Hannah calls Solomon.
Yes.
And so the whole conversation, I was just like, what? It didn't make sense to me. I know. That's why. Tell me what.
No, it's not
sounded, that. Yeah, what?
There's nothing that's supposed to make sense yet. Okay. It's all just illusion. Right. So they're just alluding to what
sounds like she's depressed.
Well, so we already know the soapland thing. Yeah. Right. And if we're part of the culture, we would know for sure, like, OK, this means that she's not in a good space and everything. And so now she calls Solomon and she's like, look, you can't get brother, you can't get me. It's like there's no reason for me to even tell you because you can't even get me. I think then that she ran away and went to this space, or went. Well, she's definitely not. Well, I don't want to say she was kidnapped or anything. I don't know if coercion was involved at all. What we know is that she disappeared. Parents are still looking for her. She's working at a soap land. I don't understand why there needs to be even more, except just the story as how she got there.
Yes, that's probably what I want more.
Of
That's what I'm just
well, that's
saying.
why there's 6 more episodes, though.
I know, but also when she was saying like you can't get me, I'm wondering if she means not like location, but like she's too far gone mentally in this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what
I would suspect that has more to do with it than actual physical. There's nothing to think about regarding physical location. I mean, if she's making a phone call and she's watching him, there's no reason. Right, there's no reason to think that she's not in a location that he can physically go to.
Yeah.
Right. There's something deeper, and I am waiting for it to unfold with patience.
So this is like the last scene.
Yeah,
with Hansu.
Well, there's the other scene.
That's the scene when Hansu is there with her while she's doing laundry again.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was cool because he's like, it just rained, let's go pick mushrooms, you know. I was like, oh, I love mushrooms.
Hate mushrooms.
And then she was like, I gotta do all this laundry, and he's like, there's 2 of us, like
it won't take long.
Yeah, he even helped her. Was it this scene where he did scrub? Oh, well, you know, we didn't talk about what they talk about while she was doing laundry. Mm-hmm. But, you know, he did talk about growing up. He was very poor.
Very poor.
And when
only
he burned,
had one set of clothes.
And he burned a hole in his dad's suit. But it was really cool. And they talked about like different countries. We didn't go into any of that. Mm-hmm. You know, but I like the way he talks to her.
Yes.
You know, he doesn't talk down to her.
Well, she kind of set him straight on that, like in the very beginning. And she either misinterpreted or he did speak down to her about like just her station. She was like, you're not gonna talk to me.
Oh, because he's like, you can get out of here or something.
Yeah.
She's like, why? It's my home.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all of their conversations was really cool. And we didn't talk about too much about.
Yeah.
But so I was in like shock a little bit. So explain this. What happened? What were they doing? I'm just kidding. So when she goes off to get mushrooms and she comes back, it's like she's all excited and she kind of stops because he's standing there and he's smiling. You know, very nice smile.
It's looking good.
His jacket is on the floor. Like, I'm like, are they gonna have a picnic? Is that what we're gonna call it? They had a picnic.
Had a picnic.
What was he? He wasn't suggesting any of this, right?
I don't think I want to say no.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
But
either.
It just kind of
because he was like happy to be there. I think it was her.
Oh yeah.
Because she looked at him.
Oh, she was struck. She was struck. I don't know what it was about that particular scene that she was struck.
Well, you know, she really already was struck by him. Right? We already know she was.
Yeah.
She was hiding it. But I think after she got to know him over the past 2 days, I don't know. I think
however many days.
It could have been weeks, that he was there.
And back in those days, you could get married in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. So that's what I'm thinking.
We would frown upon that here, right? But or in this day and age. But back then, are you kidding me? Life is short.
So I get all that. I get it. I'm okay with it. But I wasn't expecting it at all.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm good.
Really? Because you keep saying that you're good, which normally means that you're not good.
I know. I don't know. I got to watch another episode. I guess I'm nervous. I'm nervous about what's going to happen.
Love, they're not going to focus on the sex. That's not what this is going to be.
I'm not trying. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm nervous about what's going to happen with their relationship and just the whole story. I can't wait because she obviously doesn't marry him, because even the sister-in-law said, do you think what your life would be like if you would have picked the other guy? So I'm hoping this is good. I hope this is a good story.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not disappointed.
What would disappoint you?
I don't know, just some dumb storyline. I don't know. I want to be.
I don't think. I really think that you're not going to be disappointed, because so this is based, although it's not an
bestseller
well,
book.
forget that, but it's just that it's not based on a true story, and yet this is like as true to history. It's a true to history type of deal. And so I think that someone, they didn't just manufacture just like,
things
out of
like
the blue.
this happen.
This is something that has happened, and it's grounded in, I think it's a bit more grounded than what a normal, like I said, some crazy wild romance or whatever. And so
anyways,
I think it's gonna be
I can't wait. Okay,
it's got to be.
Okay,
it has Eamon Ho in it.
Thanks for listening. This is Talk K Dramas with Bruce and Dallas, episode 3 next.
All righty, bye.
See you later. Bye.